promoting special events. However, Birmingham Park has not yet been developed, access to Providence Park has not yet been approved, much of Milton's green space is still undeveloped, and Milton is still relying on neighboring city programs and facilities. Should parks and recreations be a priority for Milton, and if so, what would be your first step?
Parks and Recreation is a priority, and you just heard Councilmember Tarp speak about the fact that we are pursuing implementation of our park planning. It's critical that you plan first and then implement, and we've planned, and now we're going to implement. We're implementing through the intergovernmental agreements with our schools. We're leveraging those fields that already exist. We have opened Bethel Community House. We have camps for kids that are taking place already and have been this past summer, and that'll continue. When we look at Providence Park, the reason that we didn't acquire that yet is that there's a huge environmental liability that would have cost our city millions of dollars. It would have been unwise to acquire that 45+ acres until the environmental liability is behind us. It's almost behind us, but it would have been foolish to acquire land that would have cost our citizens money. So we needed to wait, and we did, and we're going to be acquiring that and incorporating that into our park planning environment. And in terms of the Birmingham Park, guys, that park is available. So while we haven't yet developed it with the active components yet, that's going to be coming. It's going to be starting to happen this year. Please know that you can go out and enjoy that park today. You can go ride a horse on it. You can go ride a bicycle on it. You can go picnic in it. And please take advantage of that. We also had concerts in the park that were free to our citizens. So we are leveraging that park land. We need to do more of that. We'll need to have fields of all type. We also just approved an expansion to parks, a soccer field that's down on Cox and on 140. Obviously, that's important. We've been looking at how to expand HYA, which, by the way, please go on Saturday because they have their opening activities. So we have much to do. Thank you.
Mr. Coons?
I mean, I've already spoken with Ed Spurka, who's going to be the new principal at the high school, about leveraging the field space. So yeah, that's extremely important. He's a member of my Roswell Rotary Club, which I've been a member there for a while. Also, too, we're right about Providence Park. I've been there before. That was a liability. But Birmingham Park, I mean, my opponent has opposed that from day one. It never was, she tried to keep that out of there as a community activist with regards to Fulton County. I have the letters that say that. I've seen that. It's there. So from that standpoint, now we've had one study done. We've had a second study done. We're having a third study done, maybe a fourth, maybe a fifth. I don't know. When does it stop? The delays keep going on.
Ms. Bailey?
The question originally was, should we spend taxpayer dollars to buy land under a transmission line? So my opponent needs to get his facts straight. When Bob Fulton first acquired land, he was acquiring land under a transmission line. I don't know about your kids, but I don't want my kids playing under transmission lines. I then supported the acquisition of additional land that got us to 202 acres. My opponent doesn't know the facts. I'm happy to share the facts with you. We will have an active and passive park. It'll be awesome. It's going to be a national standard, and I have promoted that. I have helped to support it, and I will continue to do so.
Okay, now we will move into the candidate question segment where candidates can ask each other questions under the same format. And the first one to go is Ms. Bailey.
Can you confirm how many questions we were going to have?
Two each.
Seven, I'm sorry, 2 or 3?
2.
Is she allowed to have questions for her?
Yes. I'm a rule follower. In your recent release dated Friday, October 14th, you stated, and I quote, "I understand finances. Right now, 86% of our city's annual revenue comes from homeowners. Businesses are willing to take the burden off of homeowners." End quote. Our total revenue is $17.3 million. Total property taxes are $8.6 million, or 50% of the total budget. In fact, homeowner property taxes are only 42% of the annual revenues, not 86% of the budget as you calculated and presented. Also, since our city property tax millage rate of 4.731 is the same for both commercial and residential properties, a commercial property of the same value as a residential property will generate exactly the same tax revenue. Other than property tax reductions resulting from property value declines, it is not clear how your business expansion plans would result in net new revenues shouldered by the business community to the relief of homeowners. Can you please explain with specifics and an example exactly how you would reduce the homeowner tax burden and shift this to the businesses? And how much would you expect to reduce an average homeowner's property tax?
It's the Pareto principle. I mean, 15% of her property tax base comes from 2.4% of her commercial property. The residential provides 85%, which only brings in, which is made up of 97.6%. Do the ratio. Our commercial is 6 times more effective at bringing in revenue for the city than the residential is. I mean, it's a simple math equation. She worked for a bank, she should know this. I mean, it's real simple. It's, you know, it's a Pareto principle. You focus on the 20% where the money and revenue is coming from. And we're not even maximizing that. I mean, if we're in a situation where our expenditures are going to outdo our revenue by 2013, and we try to focus on that area that is least efficient, which is our residential, then we're going the wrong way. We're climbing up a ladder, and it's not even leaning against a wall. We're going to lean that thing against the building and actually climb up, and the only way to do that is effectively through the business community. And if we maximize that, we'll be set. Now, here's a question. Our primary commercial property is up on Highway 9. Has anybody thought what's going to happen when Alpharetta actually decides to make that area rural? I mean, all that traffic that drives up our Highway 9 corridor is going to go to West Side Parkway, and that will effectively severely limit our commercial property on Highway 9, lowering our 15% even more. We've got to follow the Pareto principle. It's basic physics. It's philosophy.
Ms. Bailey, 30 seconds.
It is about the math, and your math was incorrect. Our residential property values only contribute about 42%. We have lots of other revenue that is generated by this city. The commercial and the residential properties have the same millage rate. It's 4.731. The only way that your premise proves true is if you expand commercial zoning. Our residents live here for a reason. They want to remain primarily residential. It is sustainable. We can sustain our rural environment. We can promote businesses. We can generate additional sales tax, which we're going to benefit from in terms of a local option sales tax to the tune of $3.5 million annually.
Mr. Kunz, 30 seconds.
I mean, first of all, that $3.5 million hasn't even been negotiated with, and with the federal government actually, printing $3 billion per day, are we actually wanting to trust the sustainability of our city to a government entity like Fulton County outside of ourselves? I mean, where's the choice, people? We actually have the chance to be able to make ourselves sustainable by going with the business corridor, or we don't, and we become someone else's afterthought after we go bankrupt after 2013. What is it we want? We're better than that.
Thank you. The next question will be asked by Mr. Tart.